and I come from New Hampshire. I love New Hampshire. We care about people. We put live free or die on our license plates, and we make criminals in jail make the license plates. What a state, huh? You know, is that cruel or what? But that's where I'm from. I came down here to share an important message. One of the things I love about this world, see, we have problems. When I was a kid, the big thing was racism. I don't know that racism is still a problem, but I mean, we have an African-American president now. I think we've made good strides. We have a lot of way to go. But when I think of races, I think it's great. You know, God made us different colors and different, you know, we got some people who are brown, some people not so brown, some people in between. We got tall people, we got women, we got red hair, we got all different things. We have people who are remarkably handsome, like me, okay? And we got people that maybe aren't so remarkably handsome. I'm not pointing at anyone in particular, but there is something in this world. God is very creative, and He has created something called, you know what it is? Created something called diversity. You know, we've got people who are all different kinds. I love that about God. I love the colors and the different things. I've adopted a child from China. My youngest daughter's from China, and I love it. In fact, she's the only child of mine with black hair. She goes, Gaggy, you and I are the only ones with black hair in my family. And I say, yes, but because of my children, my black hair is turning gray. But that's okay. You know, it's all different colors of the rainbow, and I think that's great. You know, there's another thing that makes us, there are things that make us different, our gender, our height, how much money we make, all these things. But there are also things that make us the same. There are things about us that make us the same. So I have a question for you. Question. Because questions are good to ask. The question is this. What makes us the same? And I'll give you a clue. It's answered in this top right-hand column right up here. Is it what makes us the same that we all have stinky feet? Well, probably. Is it the same that we all sleep? You know what? What makes us the same is one day, you know what that is? That's a morgue. We get a tag on our foot. No, not all of us get a tag on our foot. Some of us die at sea, or on an airplane, or in a burning building. But in 200 years from today, every living person will be dead. And I'm sorry to have to report that. It doesn't make me happy. It makes me very sad. But it's true. Whether we're rich, poor, tall, handsome, we're all going to die. 10 out of 10 people. So I have a question for you. Imagine I could put a chip behind your ear. Okay, and it records. Don't leave, the best part's coming. You're one of, no, I need you. You're my pretty blonde person. You gotta stay. Imagine I could put a chip behind your ear and it will record every thought that you have. Every thought for 1 week. And at the end of the week, we're gonna go to a movie theater. This is a movie theater, and there's all people gonna watch it. And we're not gonna watch the Titanic in 3D, and we're not gonna watch Star Wars. Although that's really, I like Star Wars. We're gonna watch secret. Sorry. Yeah, I guess I am in kindergarten. I can't even spell. Your secret thoughts. Okay? For 1 week. And here's who's invited. Your mom is invited, your spouse, your boss, your best friends, and they get to see on screen everything that we think. You, me, everybody. Now, if you're like me, you would get on the first plane to Timbuktu and never come back. Because we all think evil things in our hearts. We look good on the outside, but in our hearts we know we've sinned. The Bible calls it sin. Sin is when we do things we're not supposed to do. Like lie. Anybody here never told a lie? Put your hand up. If you've never told a lie, whoever's hand is up, there's a liar right there. Anybody here ever can say that they've never stolen anything? Some people say, I've never stolen anything. I say, well, you just admitted to being a liar, so I can't believe you. But seriously, you don't have to steal the Mona Lisa. How about if you steal a penny? What if you steal time from your boss by goofing off at work? We all do that. What about coveting? Wanting things that don't belong to us. Our society is based on coveting. My goodness, how many people with an iPad 2 now hate it because the iPad 3 is out? I need a Retina display! Okay, I have 4 kids. I know about coveting. And I myself covet. Jesus said if you look with lust, you're guilty of adultery. That's 4 commandments right there. There's 6 more. And so here's what sin does. Sin separates us from somebody. And it's this person right here. Okay? Because when you sin, if I sin against this lady, I am sinning against her, but I'm also sinning against God because you're made in God's image. And so am I. So when I lie to somebody, not only do I lie to, what's your name? Robert? Not only do I lie, I'm sinning against Robert, but I'm sinning against myself because Robert is made in God's image. So I'm sinning against him, I'm sinning against myself, and I'm sinning against God because I'm made in God's image, and I'm telling the world that God's a liar. Because look at me, I'm lying. So we're misrepresenting God. When we steal, we're saying God's like a thief. When we're coveting, we're saying that's what God's like. When we're unfaithful to our spouse, we're saying God's unfaithful. That's not right. We're actually, that's why all sin offends God. And we're all guilty. Now, when you break a law, you get punished or rewarded. Now, you're not a sports star and you're not a politician. You're a regular person. Ma'am, if you break a law, punished or rewarded? Punished. Right. What would you think of a judge who had a murderer who murdered a young child and said, it's Monday morning, you're guilty, but I'm in a good mood, I'm going to let you go because I had a nice weekend. What would you think of that judge? Yes, he is. And well, she said he's not a nice person. That's right. And God, we think that God's going to overlook our sin, but he can't. Because we've established that a judge who just overlooks sin is a not nice person. And God is not that way. He's perfectly just. He must punish us. We all deserve hell. So here's what human beings do. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it up to God. I'm going to go to church, and I'm going to give money to the poor, and I'm going to be nice to people, and I'm going to try to do good things, and I'll kiss my Aunt Edna on Thanksgiving, even though I can't stand the way she smells, and I'll be nice to my little brother, and I'll do nice things. I'll be... This is called religious, when man tries to earn their way to God. But it doesn't work because we're separated from God because of our sin. So here's what we need. We don't need religion. We need God to come down to us. And God did come down to us 2,000 years ago. His name is Jesus Christ, God in human form. And he did what nobody's ever done. He never sinned once. Never. Never lied, never stole, never thought bad things, never blasphemed. And not only that, but he always did the right things. He did what was good for Robert. He did what was right. What do you do with a man like that? Do you put him on the duck boats and give him a parade like we should have done Tom Brady because he should have won the Super Bowl this year? Do we put him on Life magazine? What do we do to this man? No, you know what? Because our deeds are so evil, we put nails in his hands and nails in his feet. And he bled on the cross and died. And if that weren't bad enough, we even put a crown of thorns on his head. That's what we do with Jesus Christ, the perfect man, the only one who never deserved it. Some people say some things are not fair. It's not fair. I didn't get a raise. You know what? The only thing that's not fair in the history of the world is when the perfect man, Jesus Christ, died like a sinner on the cross. That's the only thing that ever happened that's not fair. And he did it to take our sin upon himself. That's why he did it. I used to work in the financial industry, and it was all about trading stocks, okay? And here's how you did well. If I traded a stock and I got a different one, and what I gave away, if what I got was worth more than what I gave away, then that's good, okay? Now I gave up that career because I think it's more important to talk to people about being forgiven. But here's a trade. I'm going to give you an insider stock tip for you. Jesus Christ is willing to trade our sin, which sends us to hell, for his perfect righteousness. He takes our sin on the cross, and we get perfection. So when we die, we get to go to heaven, not because we're a good person, but because we're a bad person that's forgiven by a very good God. There is no better trade than that, I promise you. But it's something we need to do, and it's so great. God made it so that even a second grade graduate like me can figure this out. What letter of the alphabet does the cross look like to you? A T. And what's the first number that begins with a T? 2. Very good. Hey, you go to my second grade? All right. 2. There's 2 things we need to do, and they both begin with a T. Here it is. We need to turn from our sin, which means repentance. It means we don't like it anymore. It doesn't mean sinless. It means that we just don't like it anymore. We turn from it. We have a change of heart, and we trust. That's the other T. If you remember nothing else that I said, please remember turn and trust. Please. Because trusting not in our own goodness, because we don't have goodness, but trusting in Jesus' goodness, because Jesus is good. And then you get to go to heaven again, not because we're a good person, but because we're a good person who's forgiven by a great God. God is so good, He can even forgive New York Giants fans. And do you know, this message is so important. I want you to remember, when you see a T for the rest of your life, turn trust, that the MBTA put T's all over Boston. See, there's one right there? And if you go on the T, they put one on every train. They did that so you would remember, no, turn and trust. That's why it's there. I'm telling you, man. You look, you'll see the T. Please. I have a booklet here. It says from the Bible, how to receive God's forgiveness. There's nothing more important than this. Please, the only thing that'll stop you from taking this is pride.